Hi guys, welcome back to ValeTalks by Valetax. It's always a pleasure meeting you guys, and I hope you are getting ready for the market opening. It's Monday. Depending on where you are from the world, if you are in Europe, it's afternoon your time. If you're in Asia, it's probably evening your time, and if you're in the US, then your day is just about to get started. But either ways, welcome to ValeTalks. It's nice to have you guys join us today. And today with me, I have my amazing and interesting guest as always. I have Sukri and I have Dennis. Dennis, Sukri, say hi.
Hello, guys who are watching at home. Hi, Innocent. Hi, Dennis. Hope you guys are
Hello,
doing great.
everyone. Nice to have you on here.
Yeah, well, I'm doing fine. My weekend was good, and we saw the reversal of the opening of the Strait of Hormuz over the weekend, and we saw those huge dumps happen, over the weekend for a lot of pairs. We saw the S&P, the US 30, the Nasdaq 100, lose some of their gains from previous week. We saw gold drop over 1,000 pips, and all of these things happening over the weekend is crazy because you wake up on Monday morning and you just, you're up in the chat and you're just seeing a whole lot of gaps. And I think it's kind of, something that has been happening, recently a lot in the market, you know. But today, guys, we're looking at something a bit more different than we normally would. And welcome to episode 18 of ValeTalks. It means we've been doing this for 18 consecutive weeks, and if you put that out on a stretch, we're almost in our second trimester of giving birth to this beautiful baby. And today we're going to be talking about three types of retail traders. Which one are you? Which one are you exactly? Okay, so this is Valetax, and these are the talks that power your next move. So I'm just going to give a quick introduction about the guest on this call today. So I have with me Sukri Asriel. Sukri is a seasoned trader and an aspiring market analyst with 6+ years experience in the trading world. He trades forex, he trades gold, major in GBP JPY, which is we like to call it the devil. Very 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 liquid pair. We have
Yep.
Euro USD and we have XAU USD, and on the other side of the screen we have Denis Mwenga. Denis Mwenga is a global market analyst here at Valetax. He is specialized in trading forex and CFDs as well, and having mentored thousands across Africa. And he is just like me. As a matter of fact, both Dennis and Sukri are traders like me. We know how to combine technical analysis and fundamental analysis. I like to pride myself as a sentimental trader too as well. And then with no long talks, my name is Rion Ifere, and I am a global market analyst, senior market analyst here at Valetax. And I like to help traders escape confusion and bring clarity to them because at the end of the day, that's what trading is about. And founder of the Rion FX Swing Trading Academy. So let's get right into what today is about. Guys, today is going to be interesting because we're talking about retail traders, right? And today we're going to be talking about the gamblers, the overthinkers, and finally the pro traders. And when it comes to the retail part of trading, uh, people or traders struggle a lot. I think the first stage for a lot of retail traders is gambling. We all come into the market and we try to gamble our way to the top, right? And then we realize this doesn't work. Then we move to the next phase where we start to overthink everything and then we miss out on possible opportunities, which is where a lot of retail traders, they get stuck. Then we then have the pro traders when you finally come out of confusion and into being a good trader. But now within these three things, one thing is common with them. They're all retail traders, right? What I want us to discuss today is kind of share, I want us to shed light on each of them. And then I want us to make comparisons. So here's the plan I have in head. I'm going to take the overthinker because I was in that phase for a long while, and I'm going to throw the gambler to Sukri, and Dennis, you're going to take the pro trader, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to play devil's advocate today. I'm going to be in the position of really trying to explain to people why we get stuck in the overthinking place. Sukri is going to take the position of the gambler to try to prove a point to why he's a gambler and why he thinks that's where he's stuck in. And you're going to take the position of a pro trader. So what we're going to do is comparisons, differences, and how to finally get to being a pro profitable trader, at least not immediately, but over time. And I would love for us to do that in, let's say we should be able to accomplish that in 45 minutes, can't we? Are we good? So let's start with the gambler, which is Sukri. So Sukri, why are you a gambler?
Okay, let me start with generally, okay, what retail traders, like what you said, all of these, I position them as the gambler, number one.
Yeah.
The overthinker is equivalent to maybe the technician, because they are
Yeah.
still trials and errors, and the pro traders, I shall name it as the professionals. So,
Right.
for me, maybe retail traders do not they don't actually lose because the market is hard, but they lose because they don't know what type of trader that they fall into, because actually all are the same market, the same
Yeah.
chart, but these three traders will see three completely different opportunities, right? So,
Yeah.
so the gambler, let, when I break it down to some terminology like psychology, all right. So, uh,
Right.
this gambler, okay, I position myself as a gambler, all right. So, the gambler, they are driven by dopamine. Uh because they normally trade for excitement, not consistency. They
Okay.
for example, they want to pay some debts, or for example, they are eyeing for an iPhone 17, or just etc etc. So they think
Right.
that, for one short of position, or one setup, this one trade can actually change my life. Okay, for example, they have $100. They actually
Yeah.
aim to get that iPhone 17 from that $100 that they
Yeah.
deposit. All right. So
Right.
their behavior is different, of course, compared to the overthinker and also the professionals, because in terms of their behavior, obviously they will overtrade. They will fully utilize the leverage, full
Right.
margin, go full margin. Even sometimes they just, purposely click on the same entry or the same price without looking back and forth, and without any stop loss, without with random stop loss, or don't have any stop loss. And they um they tend to obviously revenge trade in case of losses, which are likely to be happen most of the time, as you guys
Yeah.
know. So all goes in on a strong feeling, with a strong vicious ambition that they will actually achieve that short-term goal, and they normally jump between strategies. If the
Okay.
SNR of on M1 will does not go according to their way, they go like they hold on for a while, and then we deposit again, and then they wait like 30 pips. If the price is going against them, they will not stop. They will still stick to that particular setup without even
Yeah.
knowing the behavior of the current behavior of the market and whatnot. So the gambler basically is not trading the market. He's trading on the I mean I am trading based on my emotion. So every
Yeah.
trade is like an excitement. The wins is a euphoria, and the losses will be anger or revenge. So it's like a casino behavior, literally.
Yeah.
So hence it's called as a gambler type of retail trader,
So
because some people don't want to make money. They want to feel something, the excitement and the short term accomplishment.
so that
Yeah.
is that is so that is why you're a gambler, Sukri. So now we get it. Now we get why you're a gambler. Okay,
Yeah.
so why am I an overthinker? Right? Why I'm an overthinker is conditions and situations. Yeah, we can put them together. Experiences, right? And then the will to want to learn. So correction. So the reason why I'm an overthinker is I have experienced the market. I've made losses. I've moved out from being a gambler, and now I finally see the things that I'm doing wrong. I've lost a couple of bucks, probably maybe even more than just a couple. Probably I've lost a lot. So now I come into the market with a different level of awareness. So every time I want to make a decision, I become extremely calculative. So now I'm thinking, are my entries right? Do I really believe I know where the market is heading to? Is the market going in the direction I want it to get to? Is my stop loss in the right place? Would prices eventually get to my take profit, or should I just take profit at this point? Should I let my winners run, or should I let my losers run? Should I cut the market out right now since I'm making losses, or should I wait for it to get to my stop loss? Is my risk too much? Is my risk just okay? Oh, I need to make sure I make, ends meet. So should I increase my lot size or should I reduce my lot size? Is my strategy good enough? These are all the things that make me an overthinker. So when I finally get to the chart, I can't perform and I can't execute because now I have so much to filter out before I make a decision. That's what makes me an overthinker. Now, another reason why I am an overthinker is conditions and situations. So if I have had gone through a terrible phase in my trading journey as a gambler, probably I have taken, account management, have taken liquidity or capital from people, and I've lost it all back to the market. Now I'm going through something called trading emotional trauma, right? So I have trauma from all of the losses I've made that is hindering me from actually having to see the market clearly. So there's no clarity in my actions. So whenever I go to the chart, I might know exactly what's right and my strategy might be good enough, but I'm still going through something called PTSD. So I'm having a post-traumatic stress disorder from trading, right? That is why I'm an overthinker. So now I'm struggling and I want to get out of this. So I become more aware of the situation. So now I'm learning even more. I'm learning even more to the point that everything is now questionable to me. I have gotten into my Aristotle phase or Plato phase. So I question everything. So I've finally gotten into the philosophy of trading, right? So I'm overthinking everything. How do I finally leave this place to become a pro trader like Denis?
Actually, I love the way we are unfolding this entire topic, starting from gambler to overthinker and then to pro trader. It basically captures all the steps that someone usually goes through. When I started out, yeah. So when I started out, for example, started out as a gambler. So as a gambler, for example, there was a lot of pain, of course. There's a lot of pain when I started out as a gambler, and the pain came from the need to be right. You see, I don't want to be wrong. I've made a prediction, and since I've made that prediction, I want to be right. Now the shift began when I realized something about charts. For example, just simple price action charts. When I realized that charts are simply there, to tell the market story. So they are not there to predict the market. They are simply there to tell the market story, and they show market behavior. So I started saying, okay, so the reason why I should use these charts, it's not because I want a certain outcome from a certain pattern. So I'm going to just gamble in and see. I realized that, hey, this pattern being formed on this chart is telling me something about the behavior of market participants. And that's it. Simply that's it. But it is not a promise as to how the future will look like, how the future will be. So once that clocked in, that's when I realized, okay, it's time to stop obsessing about predicting the future, and it's time for me to focus on studying behavior first. So once you start studying behavior, you start looking at your analysis from a point of structure. Okay, so this market structure, what is it telling me about the behavior of market participants? So another thing, then you start realizing, okay, what about trading strategies? This is also something that clocks in when you transition to the pro level. So many traders usually ask, what is the right strategy? What strategy should I use? And from transitioning from being in the wilderness as to what is right strategy, I came to realize that actually the market is what will dictate the strategy that will work. Nobody will come and tell you and say, this strategy works, that strategy works. It's better to be a student of the market. And in the market, there are three types of strategies. You have trending strategies, for trending markets, you have consolidating strategies for markets that are consolidating, and for markets that are range bound. So trend, consolidation, ranges. Once you start understanding, okay, this type of behavior, so what will basically say, okay, right now the market is trending. It is the market that is simply communicating to you. So waiting on the market to communicate the right strategy to use, the right type of environment to trade in. So understanding that is what causes that shift. And of course, after you understand all that, then you realize risk management is part and parcel of the game. How does the strategy fit in with my risk management plans? I want to risk $1 to make $2. I want to risk $4 to make $8. Does the setup align? Does the market environment align with the type of strategy that I want to use? And am I obsessing on analyzing and studying market behavior instead of predicting? So yeah, that is the reason why I decided, okay, the pain is enough. Now I need to go pro in the way I think about the markets and in my mindset.
So that is why you are a pro trader, because you've decided that you do not want to focus on predicting the market any longer. Instead, you want to understand the market and interpret what the market is, the information the market is giving to you, and then translate that into execution and risk management. So that's why you're a pro trader.
Exactly.
So are you then trying to say that Sukri isn't doing the same thing? But Sukri goes to the chart, analyzes the chart, and executes his trades. So what are you doing that Sukri isn't doing? Because Sukri learned from his mentor. His mentor told him how to do technical analysis, taught him how to draw his support and his resistance. Sukri also knows how to look for the price action candlestick patterns. And Sukri trades a break and retest, and he enters the trade. What makes you any different from what Sukri is doing?
Oh yeah. So what makes someone from a professional standpoint is Sukri is not focusing on the process. You see, he's not focusing on the process. On the other hand, a professional focuses on the process and, importantly, probability. So the way Sukri sees that level of support or level of resistance, expecting or anticipating, hey, this is what is going to happen here. Okay, it ought to unfold exactly as I read in the books, exactly as I was told by my mentor. We're not saying the mentor is wrong or the book is wrong. No, the professional, on the other hand, is like, okay, what are the probabilities of us having a breakout or price bouncing off that level of resistance? And consequently, because I'm dealing with the probabilities here, then I definitely should exercise risk management. I should have my stop loss at a predetermined level even before I make my entry. I would say that's the huge difference. So gamblers, of course, Sukri being a gambler, he will obsess over where price might go. The professional, on the other hand, will not really obsess over where price might go, but will think in probabilities as to what price will potentially do.
Sukri, why do you do what you do? Why do you trade in the way he claims you're trading? And what I need from you, Sukri, round, like I said, yeah, we're going to play devil's advocate, right? So it's you and I against Denis today. So Denis claims this is what you're doing wrong, but to you, you are doing something, and even it has worked a couple of times. Just that for some reason you end up losing more than you make, right? So I want you to tell Denis what you're doing exactly and why you think is right. I want people on the call today to kind of have a feel of their own self from each and every one of us.
Okay. So why I'm doing what I'm doing is because I believe that too much of strategies with with RSI, with all those what do you call that, Elliots and all the Fibonacci's and whatnot. Yes, those are technical instruments that I know, and I might follow or I might not follow. All right, but at the end of the day, what I want is fast money. Because every second, the market can actually reward us with every second is a rewarding opportunity, be it selling or buying, because the market fluctuates. All right, but um why I choose to be a gambler is because I don't want to see slow profits. I just want to hit that lot, and $100 to $1,000 can be done in a day.
Yeah.
When you enter when you entry at the right position at the right time. So I think as a gambler, I don't just enter the market blindly, but still with fundamental and also technical analysis. But I will be focused on the profit that I want to actually gain on that particular day or on that particular set. So
Right.
yeah, so one loss I don't care about, because I already have, for example, $1,000, right, as a risk capital, and I'm
Yeah.
gambling with $100, hoping that this $100 can actually reach my target to $1,000. But it doesn't make
Hi,
sense.
Cyril. I see your question.
Yeah.
Someone's asking where should they take the trade from? So these are, if you notice on the chart, sorry to interrupt you, Yasukri,
No
just
worries,
want
no
to
worries.
answer the comment section, right? So
Mhm,
you notice on the chart right now, I have two entry points, right? And we haven't
mhm.
made an entry yet. What I'm looking for is for prices to hold off this area
Correct.
solidly, reject
Mhm,
it a lot of times to prove its bullishness. Now, mind you,
mhm.
we are still about 37 minutes there about before New York open, and we know if for any reason New York usually brings the reversal back into the market, hence why there's this lower level, right? So
Yes.
we have this fair value here on the lower level, right? Here, this fair value imbalance here, and this where the buyers from the Asian session and the London session has been buying continuously. So we most likely could see a New York reversal, sell off into this level before the buys to go back and fill this gap. Okay.
Yep.
So major entry for me wouldn't be to chase these buys right now, considering New York Open is just a few minutes
Few
away.
minutes
So
more.
I would want
Mhm.
to watch to see, right, how New York opens. But this is also a possible liquidity target
Reaction.
from that
Mhm.
session. Okay, so what we want to do is play it safe here. So if prices reject here a couple of times, we go in managing our risks properly here. And if prices fills off this level and fails to fill up this gap all the way back into this level properly, then we'll be waiting for the reversal to sweep the Asian London liquidity before they move back up to fill that liquidity. So I hope that answers your question. So pay attention to 4774. Okay, pay
Mhm.
attention to 4774 area and your long-term target at 4830 most likely, but you want to scale in and take in as much profits as you can from 4770. Stop loss is at 4757. So I just wanted to answer because I see a lot of questions, people asking, where they should take the trade from. Yes, it's Sukri. So like you're saying, yeah, what I've been able to get from you is you feel you have enough capital, right? And you just want to
Yeah.
make your money, get out of it. So
Yeah. I just want to hit
it's
and run.
hit and run. So it's not just a retail mentality. I think gambling is anchored into the day trader's mentality more than the retail trader mentality. Because you find a lot of gamblers as day traders, they want to
Mhm.
scalp, they want to day trade, they want to get into the market at every session. They want to trade the Asian session, the London session, the New York session, because they've been told that the market is liquid 24/7 5 times a week. So they try to make as much as they can. But
Mhm.
I, as a thinker, I've come to realize that it doesn't always work that way. So now when I see opportunities, I hold back. when I finally see an opportunity to take trades, I'm scared of taking this trade because I've lost so much money. Because someone like Dennis is always betting against you, the gambler, and I'm the in between. I'm the one who gets into the market in the right position and then I run away. Now, this is what we're going to do next. I want us to finally talk about how we were able to solve this problem. Okay, personally for me and for you, and then Dennis would then, I believe Dennis would add the spices to garnish it up, and then we can finally get to his level right now, and then Dennis could give us like, okay, tips to stay a pro trader, because I think profitability can what's the word? It sometimes has a way of taking a break from a trader's life, especially when you relapse. Because what people don't understand is you can be disciplined and be consistent until you fall off that consistency and you start to, do the wrong things. And all of a sudden you would realize how indisciplined you've become again and how inconsistent you've become. So I think it was who said that thing? I think it was Bezos, I think, who said that thing, that getting to the point where you're very rich is hard, but then getting to the point where you're disciplined enough to stay rich is even harder, right? So it's the same thing with being a pro trader, being a profitable trader, right? So I like to use the word pro for profitable and professional because they are all pro. So when we get there, it gets harder in a way because now you have to stay consistent. Now you have to be more disciplined because now you're not just trying to make profits. Now you're trying to keep profits, you're trying to scale profits, and you're trying to remain as good as you are. You're trying to weather through the storms of market conditions, and all of those things. So what we're going to do is you're going to start out. How did you finally leave the gambler position? And then I would say how I left the overthinking position, and then Dennis would then finish it up with how he's been able to stay, a pro trader.
So it starts with me, right? As a gambler.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So normally, I think one focal, point, or one of the most important environment when you want to become not just a professional trader, a proper trader, I can say. So you
Yeah.
have to get the right set of people around you. You cannot have, a good friend, or, your mate who is also a gambler thinker, who has a gambler mindset to actually trade beside you. However, because somehow he will actually, that person or your friend will somehow, provoke your trades, or he will actually fire you to actually in order for you to actually not stay in in the mood that you want to be, because you often hear, or hear something like, confirm bro, this one will confirm pump.
Yeah.
I feel that it will go up. Last time this setup worked, it should go this way, that kind of thing. So first of all, you either got to be with the right people around you, or the right kind of traders around you with the
Yeah.
right mindset, and
Right.
avoid this these people who will actually ruin your journey to become a professional or proper trader. So how I
Okay.
did it was like, am I talking like based on experience? Okay, let me just share with you. All right, so um how did I actually break through? Is when your savings are getting flat, when
Right.
you had that amount of money, and when the starting point that you have decided to become a trader, or you actually get caught with it, or you are stuck with it, um, with any reason, be it like, when, for example, if your initial purpose wasn't to become a trader, you were just going to test the market, but once you taste the loss, obvious, I can tell you, like almost 100% you will revenge the market. So that's when it starts. That's when it started. So once you see your money getting less and lesser, obviously you will get intimidated because you're gonna have further days or upcoming days to actually prepare,
Yeah.
to be ready for the upcoming days before your next payout. You can't afford to just stay at this level or that, the level of a gambler. So obviously you got to have a proper mindset. You got to tell yourself, I tell myself, hey, look, you have lost a substantial amount of money. You cannot go broke in an instant. Like, you've been around for some time, you know how it feels when you have no money. So that kind of mentality that wakes you up to not let your emotions to get hold on you all the time, even though, yes, of course, emotions will actually always play a big part during a trade. But you just have to imagine when you've got no money left. You just have to imagine the worst kind of things that would actually happen to you in order for you to become, in order for you to tone down and get yourself more permissive on being a true trader. So from there, I start to actually I start to position myself with proper traders around me, and get the right tips from them, how they actually, like what we have actually discussed in the last two episodes.
Yeah.
So that's the step, the turning point where I stopped being a gambler, seeing people enter with conscious, prudently, with a very sounded mind, or reason to enter the market, not just big wins occasionally, but long term or short term blown account. Because when you have lack of structure, obviously you will have lack of discipline. I have to admit, the cons that I am dealing with. As I'm always addicted to the outcome. I'm always addicted to see the outcome, whether you don't actually think, when your account is blown, you don't actually think the effect that it will actually bring on on your
Yeah.
family, your personal life. You will actually or reap deposit, and you just want to have that one setup that will actually cover all the losses in one night or overnight. That happens most of the time, and you know and you will not go anywhere. So yeah.
Very true. Very true. So, uh, that being said, we finally moved into the overthinker phase now, because now you realize that you're losing money. There's family to take care of. There's your personal
Correct.
self to take care of. Bank accounts getting flat. Liquidity is getting finished, right? So that's where I'm at, and this is how I was able to get through it. Number one, this might sound crazy, yeah, but let's use my personal life. Number one was getting even more closer to God. Yeah, because prayer brings clarity, right? Prayer helps
You're
you understand that you need to surrender the worries first. You want to let go of the anxiety, and that's where all the overthinking comes from. And you're so attached to the possible demise of everything you've learned and your finances and everything. Then number two is study and becoming friends with the market, and becoming friends with other traders who can lean in and show you a thing or two of how they've been able to do it. And they don't necessarily have to be profitable, or they don't necessarily have to be pro traders, right? But they need to have shown you a certain level of profitability that you haven't attained. Because at the end of the day, your mentor doesn't necessarily have to be someone who has it all. Your mentor has to be someone who has done something you've not been able to accomplish, because at the end of the day, a mentor should be able to teach you something that he has done, right? So you don't necessarily need the OGs of the OGs to be your mentor. You just need someone who is in a place where you're trying to get to. That's the number one thing, right? So you want to find yourself that person. It could be a friend, it could be a brother, it could be a colleague, Could be anybody, right? Now, the next thing that I did was realizing that I need to slow down the chase for the high life. Trading has this high life thing where, you want to drive the Lambo, you want to drive the Ferrari, you want to show off the profits, you want to travel, you want to go to all the nice places. And that increases the pressure on a new trader or someone who's still trying to get their footings, especially when you've made losses. Particularly for me, I made a whole lot of losses, right? And I tried chasing recovery, but then I had to slow down to realize that you don't chase recovery, you go slowly when you're trying to recover. You get into recovery through clarity. You need to get to a point where you're like, I've made all of these mistakes, I've made all of these losses. I need to take it slow to build myself back up. But when you keep rushing it, you'd realize that you're only acting from a place of fear and anxiousness. So that's why it's important to start with number one. You need to get closer to your belief system. You need to find something that relieves you of the anxiety. If you're not Muslim, if you're not Christian, if you're not Hindu, if you're not Buddhist, whatever faith or belief system you have is actually one of the best ways to get to when you get into that overthinking phase. So if you're going to have to meditate, you don't believe in anything, fine and good, but you need to get out of that room, to get your head clear. Then the next thing you want to do now is finally start to understand the importance of risk management. See, execution isn't difficult. Risk management is. I told someone the same thing this morning, and it sounded very, very interesting to him. I said, execution isn't your problem. You've just messed up your risk so many times that now you're scared of executing your trades. Because if you execute to the proper risk management every time, execution doesn't become a problem. It's just a process. It's just something you wake up to do every day. Take, for instance, when you go to bait every day, right? You're not scared of going to have your bat. But if you go to have your bath 3 times in a week and you fall down in the bathroom and hit your head twice, right? And that's because probably you slipped on your soap or something. You're going to have the fear to want to have your bath the next day. Isn't that so? Because now you're going to think, oh shit, this feels like a pattern. I fell yesterday, I fell on Tuesday, I fell on Wednesday. Now you're scared of going to the bathroom on Thursday because you're scared you'd fall again, right? So it's a risk management problem that causes people not to be able to execute correctly. Because if you have a good risk management in place, execution wouldn't be a problem because at the end of the day, your execution doesn't lead to your it doesn't lead to you being burnt by the market. It's just you doing what you're supposed to do, right? So it's the same thing. So when you get to that point, I think that is one of the things that helps you leave the overthinking phase. Now you have clarity, you've become friends with the market, you've learned, you've studied, you understand the risk management, you're no longer as anxious as you used to be. You understand that recovery is a process, not just a sprint. And when you get into that phase, everything now starts to smoothing out. I think that is the foundation of becoming a professional trader. You know why? One of the things it teaches you is it brings you back into alignment with your higher self. So your soul, your mind, and your spirit are all together. So your emotions are not always running, your mind is clearer, and your spirit is calmer. Now you finally get to the position to become a pro trader. And I believe that is where Mwenga is at right now. Because you see, he looks very calm. He's not even bothered. He's looking at the gold chart, I'm very sure.
He looks very
So,
focused.
so where you at?
Yes, definitely. I'm looking at the gold chart. That consolidation right there looks very interesting, pending
Very.
the talks that are currently ongoing on. The talks between Iran and US have stalled. And I guess the bond market has also stalled a little bit. So we see gold also stalling a little bit. So it's going to be interesting
Yeah,
to see how that
and our
unfolds.
buy
Yeah.
yeah, and our buys on the live is in action. We've moved about we're up about 140 pips already for those on the
Yeah.
live that
Bouncing
buys.
off that. Yeah.
So what you want to do now, guys, if you took
Someone
this
on the
trade,
live.
break even. right? You want to break even and take some profits up 100 pips already, 140 pips. So just take some profits and break even. Yeah, Dennis. So, I'm finally being a pro trader like you, right?
And what is happening? One of the things that you clearly are demonstrating even on your chart is as you're placing that trade, as you're looking at that trade, you cared and focused on survival. You see, you
Yeah,
cared and focused on survival even before profits, because you had already demarcated, okay, this is going to be my entry point, this is going to be where I'm going to set up my stop loss, this is potentially where I'm going to set up my target. And importantly, that means that when you are looking at a trade setup from a point of survival, you really care more about, okay, how much money am I going to lose if I'm
right.
wrong, and how much money am I going to make if I am right. You're not really obsessed about direction. You care more about risk, because simply, knowing being right does not mean anything if your risk is
Exactly.
not controlled. It does not mean anything. Oh, you're right. And look at another thing that you did. You clearly defined the context. Okay, you're not just looking at setups. Okay, so what is the context here? When you're looking at gold, at first you're saying, gold is consolidating, and within that particular consolidation, we have this breakout move. So you are analyzing the environment in different time frames.
Right.
Okay, over the longer period of time, there is this consolidation. And currently, as someone is trading gold, you already know at the back of your head that, okay, fine, I'm going long on gold within this particular range, this long-term consolidation. So
Yeah.
you are taking the environment into consideration. Look at how you have kept also your chart simple. This is one of the things that a pro trader does. Clearly, yeah, clearly you are really on that path to prohood. You're keeping your chart simple. You see, it's very simple. There are no many indicators on that chart, on the chart. Sorry, you're not chasing after any complexity. And to be honest, for someone who is looking at this for the first time, or even someone who has experience, maybe at the intermediate level, maybe this particular trader has been chasing strategy after strategy, indicator after indicator. It reaches a point, and then your trading now looks boring. It looks boring
Mm,
because your chart is not full of fancy things. It's very, very simple. Keeping it simple, and trust you me, keeping it simple can be very, very, very boring to most people. And importantly, you need to be able to stay calm as you're trading. You see, we are having this podcast, we're having this conversation, but you are still calm. You can still communicate. You can still run the show quite smoothly. This is simply because your position size. Okay, you're not over risking. You're not over leveraged, so you are okay. You're fine. You see, you're fine with your position size. That means that you expect losses. Okay, and importantly, even when you expect those losses, you're going to learn from those losses at the end of the day. So
yeah.
the mistakes that you're going to make, maybe the mistakes that are going to cause you these losses, or any mistake that you're going to make from execution, you are definitely going to learn from it, not beating yourself up, because anyway, you had already taken the risk, size the position correctly, and you are calm because you know your position is not this huge position that is going to make your account blow no matter which direction the trade takes. You see, and a routine. Last time we were doing these webinars, we were doing, sorry, we were doing ValeTalks, looking at your setups. The setups are similar. Nothing is really changing. The structure, the mode of analysis. So there is a routine to it, you see,
Yeah.
meaning there is a process behind it, and you're simply following this process. You're simply following this routine. And I can dare say that making money in trading can be that easy. You need to just be a little bit mechanical, to have a mechanical system in place. And when you have this mechanical system in place, for example, your mechanical system is analyzing structure, analyzing price action structure. So it's very
Right.
mechanical, meaning it can be turned into a routine. into a routine that you do over and over and over and over again. So that removes emotions out of the picture. It makes, your decisions much more clearer, much more clearer. And if there are no setup, trust you me, last time we did not place any trade when we were having ValeTalks. Yes, we were looking at market structure. It was there, it was clear. But one being able to, you have to reach this point in your journey where you are comfortable not trading. You are okay just sitting on your hands. Very comfortable not trading. You're not forcing any trades, and you'll be surprised that some of your best decisions were made when you're not trading, when you're just simply, to quote Jesse Livermore, sitting on your hands, looking at the charts, just sitting on your hands. I usually say the best trades come to you. The best trades come to you. They're like that low hanging fruit. You don't have to really overextend yourself or struggle so much to pick it. So the best trades come to you, and they'll come to you only if you're comfortable, you're okay, just sitting on your hands. So taking these things into consideration, guys, this is basically how you transition, and you can see it clearly happening practically, I'd say. Yes, Innocent.
Very, very, very well said. Like, the whole essence of ValeTalks is for people to actually join on the live and actually see us do some of these things in real time. Because a lot of traders don't even believe that this is possible, especially those who haven't, been able to make a withdrawal. And that's why it's very important that they watch ValeTalks and they come on ValeTalks. They see when these things are done live. They learn. We have a lot of resources on our YouTube. We have the beginner course for our viewers, for our clients, for our subscribers. It's all there. It's on our YouTube where you're going to be able to learn and see how this market actually works. And then now you have ValeTalks as live. You're listening to professionals. We're telling you our history and our stories. It's important, and it's also important that you use a very good and reputable broker such as ourselves at ValeTalks, where we, education first. We want to make sure that you know exactly what you're doing. We're not just up and interested in just deposits, but we want you to know what you're doing, because at the end of the day, we want you to stay trading. We want you to stay alive, feel alive, and become a profitable trader, right? So if this is the first time you're watching and you do not have an account with ValeTalks, don't forget, link is in our bio. Make sure to click that link and get registered with ValeTalks to start trading. We have one of the best ECN accounts at just $50 deposit, first time deposit. And after then, you can make any amount of deposit you want. Our standard account is as low as $1, just $1 to get a standard account trading with ValeTalks. And you have access to all of these things for free without even having to deposit. So imagine what more you can do with a ValeTalks account with all this knowledge, and you can actually finally build your way to profitability. So if you're new here, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button, turn on post notifications so you're aware of when next we're going to be having the next episode of ValeTalks. And don't forget to engage yourself with all our materials on the YouTube. And I'm so happy that, I really enjoyed the way we played out the roles so that each and everybody that was watching today would be able to see themselves in each and every one of us. Because the only person that maybe some people would not be able to catch themselves in is Denis, and I'm glad that they don't see themselves in you, Denis, because I did that intentionally. So you're the only one left out. But the good thing about it is you're now the one they look up to. They want to be like you. They want to be the proof. And we're all just shadows of themselves that they're trying to leave behind. So you're still the key man, right? So, guys, everything we've said on this call today is to bring you to the desired end, which is for you to become profitable and really understand what you're doing. So, like Denis has said, it's a routine, it's a structure, it's discipline, it's consistency, it's clarity, it's simplicity. We don't want to have too many things. Human psychology says, as human beings, we are not able to make more than 5 to 7 concrete decisions in a day. So imagine you having too many things on your chart that confuses you and you're trying to trade everything at the same time. Yeah. So what you're looking out for is simplicity through clarity. That's one of the things that actually shows that you've grown. And where you're supposed to be overthinking, I already told you the things I did, find a way to drop those feelings, those emotions, the anxiety and everything. Go back into study, find someone to relate with. Like Sukri also said, You don't want to find yourself in a group of people who are doing the same thing you're trying to escape, right? So if you're there's a popular saying that if you're the sixth friend to five rich people, you become a rich person, right?
Yep.
And if you're the sixth friend to five foolish people, you also become a foolish person. So you want to be the sixth friend to five profitable people so you can also become profitable. At the end of the day, your environment is a big factor in your growth in any way, not just in trading. So pay attention to that, guys. And I want to say a very big thank you to Denis and a big thank you to Sukri. It's about New York Open. And guys, if you're still on the trade, we're just up 160 pips so far on XAUSD. We're about to hit TP hopefully by New York Open. We might get that huge push, into TP zones, and we'll call it a very good day, right, Sukri? Because I know Sukri also is on gold. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Remember, guys,
so
in trading, survival is success.
yeah, survival needs to come first at all times, at all times, at all times. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of ValeTalks by Valetax. And it's always a pleasure doing this with you guys. Let's get into trading properly for the day. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Thanks a lot,
Cheers.
guys.
Bye
Don't
bye.
forget,